Carl Jung was one of the most influential psychologists in history, and among all his ideas, one concept stands out as both disturbing and powerful: the shadow. According to Carl Jung, every human being carries a hidden side within them, a part of their personality they do not want to see, accept, or admit. This hidden part is called the shadow. The shadow contains everything we consider negative, weak, shameful, or unacceptable about ourselves, such as anger, jealousy, greed, fear, selfishness, and even hidden desires from childhood. Society teaches us what is good and what is bad. Slowly, we learn to suppress the parts of ourselves that are judged or rejected. But Jung believed that just because we hide something, it does not disappear. It goes into the unconscious mind and continues to influence our thoughts, emotions, and actions from the shadows. Most people believe they know themselves. But Carl Jung argued that the majority of our behavior is driven by the unconscious. The shadow is dangerous not because it is evil, but because it is unknown. When a person refuses to acknowledge their shadow, it begins to control them indirectly. This is why people often get angry over small things, feel sudden jealousy, or strongly criticize others for traits they secretly possess themselves. Jung called this process projection. When we project our own hidden flaws onto others because it is easier to judge someone else than to face ourselves. For example, a person who claims to be extremely kind and moral may secretly repress their anger over time. That suppressed anger can explode in unhealthy ways. Another person may accuse others of being selfish, while deep inside they struggle with their own selfish desires. According to Jung, whatever irritates us most in others often reveals something unhealed within ourselves. The shadow shows itself through emotional triggers, overreactions, repeated patterns, and self-sabotaging behavior. Ignoring the shadow has serious consequences. Jung believed that when the shadow is not faced, it can lead to anxiety, depression, inner conflict, and a fake personality. People start living according to expectations rather than truth. They become disconnected from their authentic self. This inner division creates mental suffering because the mind is constantly fighting itself. Jung famously said that what we do not make conscious will appear in our lives as fate. In other words, people blame destiny for problems that are actually rooted in their unrecognized shadow. However, Carl Jung did not believe the shadow should be destroyed. He believed it should be understood and integrated. Shadow integration means acknowledging your darker traits without judging yourself. It does not mean acting on negative impulses, but becoming aware of them. When you recognize your shadow, it loses its power over you. Awareness brings control. Jung believed that true personal growth begins when a person stops pretending to be perfect. One of the most effective ways to work with the shadow is self-reflection, observing emotional triggers, writing thoughts in a journal, and asking difficult questions like, why did this make me angry? Or what am I avoiding within myself? Are powerful tools. Accepting responsibility instead of blaming others is another major step. Jung believed that the journey of self-knowledge is uncomfortable, but necessary. The more you understand your shadow, the more whole you become as a human being. In the end, Carl Jung taught that light cannot exist without darkness. The goal is not to eliminate the shadow, but to bring balance. A person who accepts both their strengths and weaknesses becomes psychologically stronger, emotionally mature, and mentally free. As Jung wisely said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Understanding the shadow is not just psychology. It is a path toward self-awareness, inner peace, and true transformation.